Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to my channel. And we're talking about the welfare state. We have been covering different countries, different experiences, including the UK, Western world, Europe, America. And if you watch the rest of the video, this is one of the videos we are talking about the welfare state. Watch the other videos, leave a comment below. If you need any question, leave a comment, then I will answer your question. There are quite a few comments on different topics. I'll be gathering these comments and do a video to answer them in a video. So keep watching. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe to the channel if you like what I'm doing. We are still struggling with the quality of the pictures. If you're using mobile phone, the pictures are not too bad. But if you're using maybe some other devices, you may struggle to enjoy the pictures, because if you're watching a video, you need to enjoy a good video pictures and a good sound. But I have to set up lighting. I have to learn a lot about videoing, because it's not what people think. You need some kind of lighting. You need a certain type of equipment for sound, for picture, and so on and so forth. We'll get there. We are 2 weeks into this program. My channel, as last state, has existed for 10 years, and we are on our way. We're getting support. We need more support. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. We're talking about capitalism. The reason we are talking about we are talking about welfare state, because welfare state relates to the cost of living and the cost of living program, the help the government is giving in the world, especially in Europe, in the developed countries. Similar, in the coming weeks and months, I'll be talking about the UK, and specifically about the kind of support available for the cost of living, and we'll go forward from there, because I believe the cost of living as an issue will not go away very soon as a crisis. So we looked at different perspectives, different theories, ideas, different players contributing to the development of the welfare state. We are going to look at people who didn't like the welfare state. So they were those critics and their responses. Early conservatives, under the influence of Thomas Malthus, 1766 to 1834, opposed every form of social insurance, root and branch. In every sense of the word, this man, Thomas Malthus, conservative, did not want anything at all to do with the welfare state, because conservatives, especially extremists, conservatives on the right wing of politics, believed in one thing and one thing at all, only. They believe in the market economy. They don't believe in the public economy at all. They believe in privatization. They don't believe in nationalization. And that is the direction of travel now. Across the globe, state is selling off every asset in the country, because that's what privatization means. Some people think uh, privatization is a very fanciful word, and it is. But what it means in reality, the entire country is being sold off. And I think it is a good thing, because the private sector or the public sector, in my opinion, whether it is the public sector or the private sector running the economy, they will run it effectively if they want to. They will run it successfully. Nothing is wrong with these systems. The only system, in my opinion, the only problem is the political system and the political thinking and attitude. I think politicians and their projects are actually very enthusiastic. See, they are when they hear the word politics, they get so excited. They become overly enthusiastic. They stop thinking. They only think of the drama, the sportsmanship. If you turn your television on BBC Parliament, wherever you are, if you are in another part of the world, go to the YouTube channel, look for the BBC or the CNN or whichever TV channel. You will see the behavior of politicians in parliament, you will think they are actually small children arguing like they're playing football in the field. Everybody wants to score a point. That is the source of the problem. The an economic system, there is no problem. It is actually linking the economic system with the power politics, or rather political power, and the behavior of politicians. That's the problem. I will hopefully talk about that maybe in another video, probably tonight or another time. So Malthus believed that the poor needed to learn the hard way to practice frugality, self-control, and chastity. He is saying poor people are wasteful. They waste things. Poor people waste things. That is, they are out of control. The poor people are out of control. They are very lustful and really immoral. They should practice chastity. I don't know where he comes from, because you see, he doesn't say the poverty. I mean, he talked as if everybody in society is rich. Some of these people never saw wealth. They inherited wealth from their parents and their families. They don't understand poverty at all. Traditional conservatives also protested that the effect of social insurance would be to weaken private charity and loosen traditional social bonds of families, friends, religious, and non-governmental welfare organizations. You see, their opposition is against the government, and yet they are the ones who created the government. And empires, imperial forces, the military, the police, the legal order, and the legal system, these were actually full-blown dictatorship in Europe, America, and around the world. No one is exempt, even in Africa. Everyone was a dictator. The state were actually created by dictatorship. And the government was actually the driver of dictatorship across the globe, even today. Today, we talk about democracy, but why should we have the military? Why do you have the legal system? Why do you have the police? Why should the government still tell us this is actually false? Because the conservatives are actually the mother and the father of all governments. They keep telling us, even the UK, the conservative in Britain, tells us they need less government, not more. How can you say government takes away your freedom and you don't want the government? Their answer to the question of freedom is that remove the government and then we will be free. But they also talk about family. Family is a form of government. It's a form of it's a basic unit of society. It's a government. There is a man, there's a woman, there are children, there are dogs, there are cats, there are homes, there are compounds, there are courts in the family. It's a form of government. It's just small. So it's a contradiction in terms. We talk of non-governmental welfare. These are government. They are not non-governmental. They are governments. So there's an intellectual dishonesty and a political craftiness in these arguments. The private companies is government. That's why we talk about corporate government. They think if they privatize the economy, they sell everything to private companies, then they get rid of the government. They just move the government from public to private. So now we have big banks talk about corporate governance. So they're selling not only the economy, but they're also selling the government with it. The government is going to be private. The army is going to be private. The police is going to be private. We see this thing and we don't really see it properly. There are private governments already. Non-governmental governments are using constitutions. Constitution is a governing document. Some of them use something called Article of Association. Article of Association is a governing government. What is governance doing if the organization is not a government? It's just a private government or a charitable government. It's just changing the banding. What was public as in government is now being moved by selling small and medium business into big corporations. Corporation actually form of government, private government. So what they are talking about is not really clear. Either they don't understand what they are talking about, or they are up to something not really very honest. So on the other hand, Karl Marx opposed piecemeal reforms advanced advanced by middle class reformers out of the out of a sense of duty. So there are other opposites who believe that was actually a call of duty to provide through the welfare state. In his address of the Central Committee through the Communist League, written after the failed revolution of 1848, he warned that measures designed to increase wages, improve working conditions, and provide social insurance were merely bribes that would temporarily make the situation of working class tolerable to weaken the revolutionary consciousness that was needed to achieve a socialist economy. He almost, if I'm correct, opposed the welfare state because he conceived it as a trick on communism because it was a Western welfare state started in the West. Nevertheless, Marx also proclaimed that the communists had to support the bourgeoisie wherever he acted as a revolutionary progressive class because bourgeoisie's liberties had first to be conquered and then criticized. Whatever he's talking about, what he's saying is that the bourgeoisie were actually the upper class, as in the capitalistic sense. The 21st century opponents of the welfare state have expressed apprehension about the creation of large, possibly self-interested bureaucracy required to administer it and the tax burden on the wealthy citizens that this entailed. In the 20th century, opponents of the welfare state have expressed apprehension about the creation of large, possibly self-interested bureaucracy required to administer it and the tax burden on the wealthier citizens that this entailed. In 2012, political historian Alan Ryan pointed out that the modern welfare state stops short of being an advance in the direction of socialism. Its egalitarian elements are more minimal than either its defenders or its critics think. It does not entail advocacy of social ownership of industry. Ryan further wrote, the modern welfare state does not set out to make the poor richer and the richer poorer, which is a central element in socialism, but to help people to provide for themselves in sickness while they enjoy good health, to put more money aside to cover unemployment while they are in work, and to have adults provide for the education of their own and other children's children, expecting those children's failure taxes to pay in due course for the pension of their parents' generation. These are devices for shifting income across different stages in life, not for shifting income across classes. Another distinct difference is that social insurance does not aim to transform work and working relations. Employers and employees pay taxes at a level they would not have done in the 19th century, but owners are not expropriated, profits are not illegitimate. Cooperativism, cooperativism, cooperativism does not replace hierarchical management. In 2017, historian Walter Schiedel argued that the establishment of welfare states in the West in the early 20th century could be early in relation by elites, in reaction by elites to the Bolshevik Revolution and its violence against the bourgeois. These the bourgeoisie who feared violent revolution in its own backyard. They were diminished decades later as the perceived threat receded. Schiedel spoke to Voice Matt Taylor in an interview. It's a little tricky because the US never really had any strong leftist government. But if you look at Europe after the 1970, after 1917, people were really scared about communism in all the Western European countries. You have all these poor people, they might rise up and kill us and take our stuff. That wasn't just a fantasy because it was happening next door. And that we can show did trigger steps in the direction of having more welfare programs and a rudimentary safety net in response to fear of communism. So the advent of the welfare state by some anti-communist, maybe capitalists themselves, they argued for state welfare as a defense against potential threat from socialists or from communism or from Marxism. And that we can show did trigger steps in the direction of having more welfare programs and rudimentary safety net in response to fear of communism. Not that the communists would invade, but that there would be homegrown movements of this sort. American populism is a little different because it's more detached from that. But it happens roughly at the same time, and people in America are worried about communism too, not necessarily very reasonably. But that was always in the background, and people have only begun to study systematically to what extent the threat, real or imagined, of this type of radical regime really influenced policy changes in Western democracies. You don't necessarily even have to go out and kill rich people. If there was some plausible alternative out there, it would arguably have been impact on policy market at home. That certainly there. That is certainly there in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and the 60s. And there is a debate right because it became clear that the Soviet Union is really not in very good shape, and people didn't really like to be there, and all these movements lost their appeal. That's contributing factor, arguably, that the end of the Cold War coincides roughly with the time when inequality really starts going up again because elites are much more relaxed about the possibility of credible alternative or threat being out there. So people who were against some section of believers who were against the welfare state actually supported the welfare state as a defense against communism, a threat of attack of even homegrown or people who actually in an equivalence of terrorism in a country, an enemy within the countries of the Western world. So some scholars actually argue that the welfare state was actually promoted because of fear, not that people wanted to help; they were afraid. So when the Cold War stopped and there were no perceived or real threat from communism, then they relaxed. They refused, basically relaxation is a diplomatic word. They went back to their own shells to refuse giving help to the poor. They never wanted to give help in the first place. They were giving help as a bribe, as a sleeping pill. They were sending people who could potentially revolt, people who could almost always would have rebelled against the state, were put to sleep by a pill known as the welfare state, the welfare benefit. the National Health Service in England and all the rest of the world. There was a conspiracy, probably a conspiracy, to actually, send people to sleep because they created jobs. There were jobs. The government were pouring money, creating jobs, and increasing the minimum wage. People were working. They were getting good pensions. They were getting good sickness benefits. Small and medium businesses were being given large amount of grants. People were feeling good, but they didn't know that they did not own the tap for that kind of support. They did not own the tap. We are actually coming to an end. That is it really. We are where we are now, and we are stopping this video. Tomorrow or probably later, I will do my best not to speak about the welfare state again, but I will speak about the welfare state in context of discussing the cost of living. So we are coming full cycle. We started from the cost of living, and we are going back to the cost of living from the welfare state. Welfare state provides a background. If you understand the welfare state, if you understand the video we produce, if you watch it, also subscribing, of course, supporting this video, this channel, so that we can do the work to help actually to speak. We want to speak. We want to talk about this thing. We want to have knowledge. Knowledge is power. Information is strength. So let us work together and see, trying to understand how the state works. We'll talk about the welfare state. Hopefully in the future we will talk about other aspects of the state, so that when crises happen, the government talks to us, we are aware. The social media is going to help us to participate in a media level discussion or serious topic for those who are interested. Those who are interested in less serious topic, we will also find a way of entertaining you and ourselves, because we work, we play, we take time to do many things. I will talk about that probably in the next video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting me. I apologize for those who feel this video is long, but if the video is long, if you like this topic, just watch it. Don't worry about the length or whatever. As long as you like the topic, just short or long. Sometimes short videos is good. It's more engaging. There's less interruption. So let's see how it goes. The next video is going to probably hopefully be more improvement in terms of the video quality. I'm talking to other people now trying to help me to edit, but they are busy. Everyone is busy. We are recovering from the end of the year, and we are this is January. Everybody is trying to recover from rest. People started work this week. We are after this weekend, we are going to be the second week working here in the UK. And God bless you richly. Happy New Year! Happy New Year! We are still in January, so continue eating your leftover, drinking leftover wine and enjoying yourself. We are still on holiday. I will start adjusting to the working condition. Thank you so much for supporting my video. Subscribe, share with your friend, join the campaign, tell everybody you know, come and support this video, even if you don't like it, because I promise I'm going to work with people, different people, to make this channel enjoyable by everyone. It's not going to be just me. I'm going to be interviewing people. I'm going to be getting information from people to support these people who will come with. Maybe we can even organize some show if you're tired of talking and discussing serious topic. Thank you so much. We are 2 weeks into this program, and it's new, so we are doing so far very well. Thank you for your support. Bye bye. Good night. Thank you. Bye.